Section 1. Opening. Why reliability beats motivation. If your plans are strong on Monday and frayed by Thursday, you are not alone. Most weeks fail for simple, repeatable reasons. Too many active commitments, vague definitions of done, no protected buffer for interruptions, and no fast feedback loop to right-size the load. By week 3, rollovers and fire drills replace progress. This session proposes a different approach. Install a reliability layer, a light weekly cadence that privileges predictability over ambition. You will cap active commitments, schedule energy-matched blocks, track completion with a binary ledger, and run a 20-minute forensic review. No hacks, no unsourced claims. Just a measured routine designed to reach an 80% or better weekly completion rate within 90 days. Calmly. We will define every term and give you a practical path you can adopt this week, using whatever tools you already have: paper, a simple sheet, and your calendar. Section 2. Define the outcome and the metric. The outcome we're after is steady delivery. We will measure it with a single number: reliability rate. Reliability rate, or RR, equals completed commitments divided by planned commitments for the week. Commitments are scored binary, done or not done, no 60% or 90% complete. The formula is simple: RRR, completed, planned. Example: you planned 5 commitments, finished 4. RRR 4, 5, R 0, 80, or 80%. Binary scoring reduces self-deception and rollovers because partial progress does not count. To smooth week-to-week noise, track a trailing average across 4 to 12 weeks. Short windows react quickly. Longer windows show trend health. Start now. Write last week's planned commitments with a clear definition of done beside each. Count the ones you truly finished. Compute RR. That baseline is your starting point and your first anchor for change. Section 3. Design your minimum viable week, MVW. Your minimum viable week is the smallest set of commitments that still moves your priorities. Start by setting a WIP limit. 3 to 5 concurrent commitments works for most knowledge work. This cap reduces context switching and forces clarity. Next, choose a weekly pattern, such as 3 deliverables plus 1 administrative item. We will use Commitment Surface Area, or CSA, to name the count of distinct weekly commitments. Higher CSA inflates coordination costs and risk. Keep it small. Use a mini template for each item: name, definition of done, key dependency, time estimate, and owner. A definition of done, or DOD, is an objective finish line. For example, draft V1 sent to reviewer with sections AC complete, or PR merged to main and smoke tested. Long tasks must be sliced into weekly finishable deliverables. If research the market is too large, stage it into assemble 10 competitor notes and share summary V1 by Thursday. Section 4. Build a visible queue with a definition of ready. Before the week starts, assemble next week's commitments on one page. Each item must meet a definition of ready, or DOR, which prevents avoidable stalls. A simple DOR checklist is enough. Is the DOD written? Does the estimate fit this week? Have dependencies been contacted? Is a review or send slot booked? Are required files, credentials, or data available? If an item fails DOR, park it in a later queue. It does not count in your RR denominator because it is not truly planned. This single page becomes your weekly queue, readable at a glance, ideally no more than 3 to 5 deliverables, plus 1 administrative commitment. On Friday, confirm DOR for the next week's candidates. Send requests and calendar invites so Monday begins with start-ready work. Section 5. Schedule energy-matched blocks and reserves. Intent without time is fantasy, so put the plan on your calendar. Protect 2 90-minute deep work blocks for Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. These are for high cognitive deliverables and should start when your energy peaks. Place administrative tasks in low energy windows to avoid contaminating deep work. Reserve a friction budget, 20 to 30% of your capacity for known overhead like coordination, reviews, and small tasks. Keep a separate buffer, 10 to 20%, for genuine uncertainty and interrupts. These are calendar holds, not a to-do list. Add guardrails. No deep work after 3 p.m. if your energy dips. Move status updates to asynchronous channels where possible. And set default operating rules such as deep work holds are protected unless a customer outage occurs. The goal is not a rigid schedule. It's a reliable one. Section 6. Operate the binary ledger and the daily reset. Keep a binary ledger to track execution daily in under a minute. Use one row per commitment, with columns for Monday through Friday labeled D or N, done or not done, on any day you reach the DoD. You can also add a notes column for brief miss reasons. No percentages, no color coding required. Each afternoon, run a 5-minute reset. Confirm tomorrow's first work block, open the file or document you will start with, and list the first observable action. This reset removes friction from your morning and protects momentum. If a commitment does not finish by week's end, do not silently carry it forward. Either explicitly reschedule it after confirming its DOR, or reslice it into a fresh commitment with a new, smaller DoD. The ledger's job is to create unambiguous data, not to impress anyone. Section 7. Run the 20-minute forensic weekly review. On Friday, run a short structured review. Step 1. Compute RR and record it. Step 2. For each miss, label the dominant cause as scope, dependency, estimate, or interrupt. Step 3. Adjust load. If RR is under 70% for 2 consecutive weeks, reduce CSA before you add anything. Tighten DoD slicing and lower your WIP limit by 1 for the next sprint. Step 4. Refine the MVW pattern. If administrative load is squeezing deliverables, dedicate one fixed admin slot and protect it. Step 5. Schedule next week's commitments and confirm DOR. End with a micro retrospective. What made success likely this week? What made failure likely? What is the one change we will make next week? Keep the review to 20 minutes. If complex issues surface, note them for a separate decision session. Do not let analysis consume your cadence. Section 8. Manage interrupts with lanes and escalation. Interrupts sync reliable plans when everything is handled in the same lane. Create 2 lanes. The fast lane. A daily 10-minute triage window for true urgencies. Scan inbound, respond quickly, route or contain. The slow lane. Non-urgent items batched into your friction budget or buffer holds. Track an interrupts log with classes, customer, manager, system, personal. This classification clarifies patterns. Add a 48-hour escalation rule. If you are blocked for more than 48 hours, escalate or de-scope. Do not silently carry over. If any single interrupt class consumes more than 30% of your time for 2 consecutive weeks, renegotiate scope, raise buffer, or redesign how that class is handled. Default rules prevent decision fatigue. For example, escalate on hour 49, or protect deep work unless a customer outage occurs. Section 9, the 90-day arc. Set up, stabilize, stretch. Weeks 1 and 2 are set up. Instrument the system. Define your MVW and WIP limit. Create the ledger. Protect 2 deep work blocks. Place friction and buffer holds. Write 2 or 3 default operating rules. Weeks 3 through 6 are stabilization. Resist adding CSA. Protect the cadence. Compute RR weekly and use the review to trim scope and refine DOR. Aim to bring RR into the 70 to 80% range consistently. Weeks 7 through 10 are stretch. If your trailing 4 to 12-week RR is at or above 80% for at least 3 consecutive weeks and you have idle capacity, consider nudging CSA up by 1 commitment or reducing buffer slightly. Make 1 change at a time. Observe for 2 weeks. Weeks 11 through 13 are consolidation. Document your personal operating principles, your WIP limit, MVW pattern, default rules, typical buffers, and review script. For vacations or heavy life events, either pause the RR denominator or plan a low MVW week. Make the choice explicit. Section 10. Closing and Commitment. The reliability layer is not about doing more. It is about keeping promises predictably and moving the work that matters without chaos. The routine is intentionally small. Set a WIP limit and an MVW. Build a visible DOR-checked queue. Protect 2 deep work blocks and explicit reserves. Track a binary ledger. And run a 20-minute forensic review. Start a 90-day experiment today. Baseline last week's RR. Set a 3 to 5 item WIP limit. And write this week's MVW pattern. Place your deep work holds and your 20-30% friction budget plus 10-20% buffer. Build a 1-page queue with DOR and begin marking the ledger each afternoon. On Friday, compute RR, label misses, and adjust CSA down before up. If you want a nudge of accountability, write down your baseline RR and your first MVW and share it with a colleague or your team. Reliability compounds. Protect the cadence, and you will feel the week become quieter and clearer. Appendix. Quick reference you can copy into your notes. RR formula. RR, MAR, completed commitments, planned commitments. Track a 4-12-week trailing average. MVW. 3 to 5 commitments per week. Patterns such as 3 deliverables plus when 1 admin. DoD. Objective finish line. For example, sent, merged and smoke tested, review scheduled and delivered. DOR. Preconditions met, DoD written, estimate fits, dependencies contacted, review slot booked, access ready. Calendar. 2 90-minute deep work blocks. 2 WED AM, friction 20-30%, buffer 10-20%. Guardrails on deep work. Ledger. Binary done not done per day. 5-minute afternoon reset. No silent carryover. Reslice or reschedule explicitly. Weekly review, 20 minutes. Compute RR. Label misses. Scope, dependency, estimate, interrupt. Adjust CSA, refine MVW. Schedule next week with DOR. Interrupts. Fast lane 10-minute daily triage. Slow lane batched. 48-hour escalation. Act if any class 30% for 2 weeks. Growth rule. Only add CSA after 3 consecutive weeks with trailing RR SHA 80%.